Nothing could be more epic and important than proving this matter of God creating everything in the entire universe. And indeed, it is overwhelmingly emphatic. The Bible needs no external sources to prove its divinity. All it needs is a proper study of it mathematically, and it trumps every other single book on the face of the earth by a factor of infinity, because the Bible is special. It is in a category all its own, and what makes it special is that every single letter in the Bible equals a number. And that is exactly and definitively the key thing that sets the Bible apart from every other book under the sun. So let's prove mathematically in the smallest amount of letters possible, because God is the king of efficiency, that God did create everything in this universe. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The first two roots in the entire Bible. In the beginning, creation. You go to the three glyph roots of all the truths in the Bible, and you combine them to the glory of Jesus equals 888. Just like all of the atoms in the physical world, which God made, are three components, and they combine to fill 8 electrons in their outer shells. Just look at the Hebrew roots and marvel that God combines them. You'll get it real quick. God establishes this right off the bat. Beginning plus creation equals 8 times 88. That is there for the glory of Jesus equals 888. And then the second pair of roots, God created. In the beginning, creation. Who created? God created. That adds exactly to 240, which is 8 times 3 times 10. That's a triple of 8 multiplied by 10. Whenever something is multiplied by 10, it's for utmost emphasis on what it is multiplied by, namely number 24, which is triple 8. This is all to the glory of Jesus equals 888. So, do you see the brilliance of God and the intelligence of God? In only three glyph roots, in only 3 roots of 3 letters apiece, God single-handedly trounces every single anti-creation piece of nonsense written by a lying loser, from Darwin to the Big Bang nonsense losers to every single false philosophical moron under the sun. What they have written is not mathematically brilliant. Ask them whatever they've written, whatever lie they've written, whatever book they've written, ask them to prove to you that their letters, their words, are mathematically gorgeous, as assuredly as we're all breathing element 8 to stay alive right now. Get them to try and fix their brains. I mean, it's nothing could be more important than fixing a man's brain, because it fixes his entire life for the rest of his life. Oh my goodness. So in the beginning, creation equals 8 times 88. And then the second pair of roots, God created equals 888 times 10, 240. 24 times 10 is 888 to the glory of Jesus equals 888. So there you have it. Darwin could not start a book of this intelligence, let alone write one. So he should be burned. Every single book of Darwin, and all the evolutionary crowd, and all this Big Bang nonsense, and all this million-year nonsense, it needs to be burned completely, because they're all a bunch of fluffy lies. They're all a bunch of sordid, demonic, unintelligent lies. They have none of the glory of the Bible. They have no mathematical glory in them whatsoever. Are you starting to see how the Bible sets itself into a class all its own? It does it by means of the numbers. The Bible endures forever because it is written by God, and the numbers make it bulletproof. Any other writing of man, I don't care what you write in English. I don't care how many big words you use. I don't care how long you go on and on and on and on. By the way, the truth is always pure and simple. The truth is always perfectly concise. God is the king of efficiency. Therefore, if someone is writing a book where they are just spewing huge words, rambling on, making things complicated, it's not of God. Because God wastes no letters. He wastes no characters. He wastes no words in accomplishing what he needs to do and what he needs to say. And most of all, the numbers of God. prove the truth of the Bible mathematically, and no one else can do what the Bible has done. And a yes, every single lying idiot about the creation, and people, friends, they do need to be called idiots. Jesus spared no punches in calling people fools who were teaching children and teaching others lies, and who were incorrect in their thinking about this entire world that we live in. And know that the Bible is superior in intelligence by a factor of infinity. And so just hang your thoughts on this. This is what sets the Bible apart from every single book under the sun. You can go into a bookstore that is brimming wall to wall, floor to ceiling with every single concoction of words under the sun. But none of them have every single letter equal to a number, like the Bible has. That is de facto what sets the Bible into a class all its own, is that every single letter equals a number, and these words and these numbers and these truths of the Bible mathematically glorify the creator of the universe. Jesus equals 888 from start to finish. From start to finish. Man cannot do that. He is clinically incapable. Never mind that the entire physical creation corresponds with it all, including all of us breathing element 888 constantly to stay alive. Element 8, oxygen we called it. We just threw a silly English word on top of the truth in order to distract from the real truth. It's element 8. It's exactly 8 protons, 8 neutrons, 8 electrons. 888. You just breathe several thousand 888s right now in order to stay alive to the glory of your Maker. Jesus equals 888. And the truth is, one day you will breathe your last breath of 888 and you will see him face to face. That is the truth. And the wise man says this: one short life, it will soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. For me to live is Christ. It's that plain. It's as plain as the air that you breathe, and the bones in your body, which are stamped with 8 from top to bottom. The word bone itself, by the way, in Hebrew is 200 perfectly, which is an all-factor 8 number, 3-digit all-factor 8 number. It divides by 8 perfectly. It's the glory of Jesus equals 888. He takes the glory for every single bone in your body and every single bone that makes up every single living creature on planet Earth. And on and on and on. It is so overwhelming. It is a tragedy that man has not studied these truths and published these truths and broadcast these truths into every single schoolhouse around the world. It is a tragedy. It needs to be rectified. Intelligence needs to get into our schools, namely the most intelligent book in the entire universe by a factor of infinity, the Bible. If you throw out the most intelligent book in the entire universe by a factor of infinity from your education system, what are you left with? Complete and total lostness. Complete and total unintelligence, complete and total cluelessness about morality, about human responsibility, about moral character, about God's desire for mankind, about how to please God, about how to go to heaven, most of all, about what this life is all about, who made me, why am I here, why does the universe exist, why is everything the way that it is. You remove that intelligence and that information from a generation of children, and you have the most lost, materially consumed, depressed, unhappy, angry, selfish, competing, loveless generation in the history of the world. And on the contrary, if you baptized an entire generation in these truths from day one, so they were fed the truth lovingly and delightfully and carefully and accurately, from day one, you would have the happiest, most blessed, most joyful, most loving, and God-pleasing generation in the history of the world. It's that simple. Choose this day what you want, life or death, blessing or cursing. That is what the Bible says. Choose life. That is, choose the Bible. in all the schools. It's that simple. It's that simple. And we prove it we've proven the Bible mathematically on this one YouTube channel. It is so obvious. It is so drippingly clear and perfect and concise. It couldn't be any more beautiful. It couldn't be any more simple. It couldn't be any more concise and accurate by the design of God. The beauty of the design of God is that He made it for everyone to be able to understand and appreciate and see and behold. It is that simple and it is that clear. So, God help us to get all this information into the center of our schools as quickly as possible. Because the Bible says, if you do not have Jesus Christ, literally, the curse of God is upon you. And on the contrary, those who receive Jesus Christ, literally the blessing of God is upon them. And that blessing spills over into the entire physical region wherein people live. North America, the reason why much of, at least in the previous generations, North America was, reasonably prosperous and prospered by the grace of God, is because of its majority Christian heritage. Folks, once you understand that blessing comes upon those who have received Jesus Christ, it becomes totally obvious why countries of the world that are in total poverty and experiencing the worst atrocities on earth are the most devoid of Christians on the planet, because it's spiritual curse. It's a spiritual curse. It's darkness. There is no blessing upon the land, upon the people, because there are no Christians in the region. Whereas the contrary is also true, where you have a high density of believers, of people who bring the blessing of God upon their entire neighborhoods and regions and nation. Then you see the contrary. You see prosperity and dignity and function and growth and life and more happiness and health. Oh my! So God help us to convert as many people as possible, as quickly as possible, to the truth, because it's a good thing to get converted to the truth. As in, you were formerly believing lies and you were formerly in darkness. Now you're being upgraded massively into a life of blessing and truth.